Well, hello. This is my presentation for the school counseling class that I'm taking at James Madison University entitled School Counseling, Professional Identity, and Current Trends. My presentation today is about promoting developmental assets, and I hope that by the time I'm done it'll be something that you can see yourself doing as well. The purpose of the presentation is to show you how to develop asset building relationships with youth in order to ensure against self-destructive behaviors, protect youth from problem behaviors, and increase success in school, and ultimately promoting thriving and resilience in the youth that you come in contact with. Youth face many risk factors in their life, in the areas of family, whether it's family history or how the family manages their arrangements or their things that they do, the attitudes that they have, low expectations and stuff of the kids, their peers, whether they feel alienated or the kinds of friends that they have, the attitudes that they have, and sometimes early first use of drugs and alcohol and sexual activity. The school also provides a potential source for risk factors for kids, whether it's the policies that they have, availabilities and so forth, availability to help kids, labeling them, whether it's in terms of being in a special education class or something like along those lines, whether kids are moving, failing in school, being engaged and involved, or maybe even just not showing up for class, and in their community, whether it's poverty or the lack of involvement, again, availability of people, other potential folks that could be supportive, and the norms in the community itself. They all work against our youth these days. The asset approach is really looking to do something different. Many programs attempt to address these risk factors by changing young people's attitudes and behaviors by focusing on what not to do. And this strategy of reducing risk for youth has had mixed success. The asset framework takes a different approach. They look at on what to do in order to reduce risks, how to do something positive rather than how not to do something negative. And the asset approach emphasizes nurturing positive attitudes with kids, positive behaviors, and positive skills and abilities. Where did this framework come from, you ask? Well, the developmental assets, the 40 developmental assets, have been identified over many years of research, over 50 years actually, by the Search Institute, an independent nonprofit organization based out of Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have classified the 40 developmental assets as positive experiences, termed as external assets, and personal qualities or internal assets on the inside that young people need to grow up healthy, caring, and responsible. In other words, thriving as they develop into adulthood. The developmental asset framework is one model from the field of positive youth development, or PYD. Positive youth development is an umbrella term for human growth and development, and that each of these approaches share 4 characteristics. Number 1, a strength-based approach to development. The others are problem-based and focused on what can I do to prevent these kids from whatever, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, acting out sexually, skipping school, whatever, but looking at their strengths and how to help them. The second one is multiple agents across multiple sectors. Children develop not just in a vacuum, but within their families, their schools, their neighborhoods, and in the context of many relationships. There's lots of relationships in their life that affect how they go about doing things. Thirdly, positive youth development programs look at the focus on relationships, being intentional and meaningful, and being intentional with their relationships with youth. And the fourth area or characteristic is that they facilitate positive development, being an everyday commonplace occurrence. And everybody has a role in the community, not just the professionals that are paid to do it, so to speak. With that in mind, the 40 Developmental Asset Framework appears to be the best PYD model for school application. Okay. Now the assets themselves, termed as building blocks for success, have 20 external assets or 20 positive experiences that kids would experience. The first 4 asset categories focus on external structures, relationships, and activities that create a positive environment for young people. The first one is support, and under that there are 6 developmental assets identified. And it says young people need to be surrounded by people who love, care for, appreciate, and accept them. That aspect of support is really important. Empowerment, there's 4 developmental assets in there. Young people need to feel valued and valuable. And this happens when youth feel safe and respected wherever they are. Boundaries and expectations, there's 6 assets in there. Young people need clear rules, consistent values, consistent consequences, that is, for breaking rules, and encouragement to do their best. And fourthly, constructive use of time. There's 4 of those there. Young people need opportunities outside of school to learn and develop skills and interests with other youth and adults. Okay, so those are the 20 external assets or positive experiences that we look at as far as developing with kids. The internal assets are personal qualities, the things on the inside of the child, reflecting internal values, skills, and beliefs that young people also need to fully engage with and function in the world around them. We need them too. Firstly, commitment to learning. There's 5 internal assets there. Young people need a sense of the lasting importance of learning and a belief in their own abilities. This is really important and is most applicable obviously in school. So these are some of the ones that we'll focus on a lot in the school place. Positive values, there's 6 of them there. Young people need to develop strong guiding principles to help them make healthy life choices. Social competencies, there's 5 there. Young people need the skills to interact effectively with others and to make difficult decisions and to cope with new situations. Especially important as kids go through adolescence. And a positive identity, 4 of those there. Young people need to believe in their own self-worth and to feel they have control over the things that happen to them. All very important. Now the asset